Hey, all you beautiful brainiacs and blaze buddies.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive, where we get higher than giraffe pussy on Knowledge Man.
That's right.
Today, we're cracking open a paper that's going to blow your mind wider than Willie Nelson's tour bus.
It is.
We're talking AI so massive.
Yeah.
It makes Snoop Dogg look like a lightweight.
It really does.
We're diving headfirst into
That's right.
a mixture of a million experts.
Uh-huh.
A paper by Zhu Owen. He over at Google DeepMind.
Google DeepMind.
Google DeepMind, huh? Sounds like they're packing some serious cerebral heat.
Definitely.
So lay it on me. What's this million experts shit all about?
Yeah.
Is it like a million tiny little Carl Sagans smoking cosmic blunts in a silicon supercomputer?
Well, not exactly Carl Sagan,
Right.
but the idea is kind of close, man. Traditional AI models use these things called feed-forward layers. Think of them like the filters on your bong, you know? They clean up the information as it passes through.
Yeah.
But here's the catch. As these models get bigger, these layers get seriously bogged down. Computationally speaking, that is. It's like trying to rip a bong the size of a goddamn redwood tree.
Yeah.
Way too much effort for a mellow high.
Yeah, I feel that I'd need like a team of roadies and a crane just to light that shit up. So what's the solution, man? We can't just like shrink the redwood, can we?
Nah, man, that's where the million experts come in.
Right.
Picture this. Instead of one giant monolithic brain,
Right?
you got a million tiny little brains all vibing together. Each one's a specialist, like a bud tender who only knows about sativas, or a dude who can roll a perfect cross joint blindfolded.
Dude, that's like the ultimate smoke sesh. A million different perspectives all swirling together in
Yeah.
a cloud of like pure intellectual dankness. So how do they even get all those little brains working together? Is there some kind of like cerebral bong water keeping everything flowing?
You're goddamn right there is. And that bong water, my friend, is called Peer Parameter Efficient Expert Retrieval.
Peer, huh? Sounds like a dude I'd share a blunt with. So tell me more about this peer. How's it different from like those traditional AI models with the giant redwood bong brains?
All right, so here's the deal. Peer doesn't rely on a few big, complex experts.
Okay.
It's all about utilizing a massive number of tiny experts, each with a minimal computational footprint.
Right.
Think of it like this. Instead of smoking a whole ounce to get your desired high, you just pinpoint the perfect little nug, a concentrated burst of potent knowledge.
Okay.
That's what these tiny experts are like.
Man, that's some next level efficiency, man. It's like finding the perfect nug in your stash without having to sift through a whole bag of shake stick. But hold on, parameter efficient. Explain that shit like I'm Cheech Marin after a 12-hour wake and bake session.
All right, amigo, imagine each little expert is like a nug of knowledge. Peer's got this super efficient way to find the right nugs for any given job.
Okay.
It's like having a sixth sense for the perfect strain. This product key technique allows Peer to sift through a million experts and assemble a custom mini brain on the fly.
Okay, so it's like Peer has a mental map of its stash, so it knows exactly where to reach for that indica when it needs to chill. But wait, what the hell is a product key? Is it like a secret code to unlock the good shit?
It's more like a clever labeling system, dude. Each expert's got a product key.
Gotcha.
It's a unique identifier that tells you what that expert's all about,
Right.
what kind of knowledge they're packing. And when Peer gets a new piece of information, it uses these product keys to quickly find the right experts for the job. It's like checking the labels on your weed jars, man, instead of having to open each one and sniff around.
Man, that's some seriously organized stash management. I gotta get me some product keys for my own brain, dude. So once Peer finds those experts with the right product keys, what happens next? Do they all gather around a tiny bong and brainstorm?
Something like that, man. Remember how each expert is a tiny MLP, a mini brain, basically? Well, Peer takes these selected experts and combines their outputs to create a custom MLP for whatever task it's trying to handle. It's like building a Frankenstein bong out of all the best parts, you know?
Dude, that's a beautiful image. A bong made of pure knowledge hitting you with the ultimate intellectual high. So we got these tiny experts, we got product keys, we got Frankenstein bongs. It's all starting to come together, man. But like, why the hell are tiny experts better than big ones? Isn't it like the bigger the bong rip, the better the high?
That's where things get really interesting, my friend. This paper introduces the fine-grained Moe scaling law,
Okay.
which basically means that the more tiny experts you got, the better the overall performance. It's like sometimes a bunch of little hits from a one-hitter can get you way more blaze than one giant rip from a goddamn gravitron.
Okay, that makes sense. More experts, more perspectives, more knowledge.
Yeah.
It's like a stoner think tank in there. But hold on, man. We got to take a little break. My brain's starting to feel like a popcorn kernel in a microwave. Let's hit the pause button and come back with part 2, where we'll really unpack this whole million experts thing and explore the far-out implications of this mind-blowing research.
Sounds good to me, dude. We'll be right back after these messages or, after we finish packing this bowl. Stay tuned, folks. The best is yet to come. Welcome back, fellow knowledge talkers. Let's hit this peer paper like a fresh bowl and really explore the sticky, icky heart of this research.
You know, my brain's craving that sweet, sweet AI knowledge. Like a stoner fiend craves Doritos at 3 a.m. Hit me with that next level shit, Professor.
All right, let's break down how this whole million experts concept actually gets baked into reality. Remember those product keys we were talking about? Well, it's basically like having a mental map of your weed stash so you know exactly where to reach for that mind-bending indica when your brain needs a good chill.
You speak my language.
Yeah.
It's like instead of having to rummage through a chaotic bag of weed, you got all your strains neatly labeled and organized. But how does this product key thing actually work, man? Is it like some kind of secret code or something?
It's more like a super efficient indexing system, my friend. Imagine trying to find the perfect nug by comparing it to every other nug in your stash. That'd be a total buzzkill, right?
Right.
Instead, Pure uses these product keys to quickly narrow down the search.
So it's like checking the labels on your weed jars instead of having to open each one and take a whiff.
Yeah.
That's smart. So how are these product keys actually made, man? Do they come with the weed or what?
Nah, man, these product keys are created by combining smaller subkeys. Think of it like this. You're organizing your stash by strain, A and D flavor. You got your indicas, your sativas, your hybrids, but then you also got to consider the terpenes, man. Those are the things that give each strain its unique aroma and effects. So by combining these subkeys, you create a more precise label for each nug. It's like having a detailed map of your stash so you can pinpoint exactly what you need for any occasion.
Dude, my brain's starting to feel like that well-organized stash right now. Everything's labeled, categorized, ready to be accessed at a moment's notice. So once Peter's found the right experts using those product keys, what happens next? Do they have a little smoke sesh and jam on some ideas?
Something like that, man. Remember how we talked about each expert being a tiny MLP that's a multi-layer perceptron, which is basically a mini brain in the AI world? Well, Peer takes those selective experts and combines their outputs to create a custom MLP for whatever task it's trying to handle.
So it's like Peter's building a Frankenstein bong out of all the best parts.
Yeah.
Creating the ultimate smoking experience. Each little expert is like a different chamber, contributing its unique hit to the overall high.
That's a pretty dope analogy, man. And because Pure is dynamically assembling these MLPs on the fly, it can adapt to all sorts of different inputs and tasks, just like a seasoned stoner can roll the perfect joint for any occasion.
Damn, this Peer thing is sounding more and more like the ultimate stoner. AI, efficient, adaptable, and always ready to pass the knowledge bong. But hold on, man. How do we know that using all these tiny experts actually leads to better performance? Couldn't it just be as good to have a few big experts, like a council of elder stoners who smoke their way to enlightenment?
That's a great question, dude. And that's exactly what those brainiacs over at Google DeepMind investigated. They found that this approach of using a shitload of small experts actually aligns with this thing called the fine-grained Moe scaling law.
Uh-huh.
The more tiny experts you have, the better the model performs, even if each expert is relatively simple. It's like sometimes a bunch of little hits from a one-hitter can get you way more baked than one giant rip from a goddamn gravitron.
Okay, that makes sense. More experts, more perspectives, more knowledge. It's like a stoner think tank in there.
Yeah.
So we got this massive crowdsourced intelligence going on. But how do we know these little experts aren't just echoing each other, man? Like, wouldn't that lead to some seriously biased and limited thinking?
That's where the beauty of Pure's design comes in. Remember how we talked about those product keys being like labels on your weed jars? Well, those labels ain't just random, man. They're designed to ensure diversity among the experts. Each expert has its own unique perspective and knowledge base, like different strains with different effects.
So it's like Pierre's got a whole dispensary of knowledge.
It does.
With a strain for every occasion and every mood. But hold on, man. We were talking about this thing called lifelong learning, right? How do these tiny experts handle learning new shit without forgetting everything they already know? It's like if I smoke too much of a different strain, sometimes I forget what the hell we were even talking about.
That's a valid point, my friend. And that's where the size of those experts really comes into play. Because they're so small and specialized, they can be updated or modified without disrupting the entire system. It's like you can add a new strain to your stash without having to rearrange everything else. The existing knowledge is preserved, and the new knowledge is integrated seamlessly.
Damn, that's some next-level brain power right there. So Pier's like the ultimate stoner student, always open to new experiences, always expanding its horizons, and never forgetting where it came from.
Now you're getting it, dude. And get this, Peer's design actually encourages knowledge transfer between experts. It's like passing a joint around a circle. Everyone gets a little bit smarter with each puff.
Whoa, man, that's deep. So these tiny experts ain't just working independently. They're actually learning from each other, creating this, like, collective consciousness or something.
You got it. And that's one of the things that makes Peer so powerful. It's not just a collection of individual experts. It's a system that facilitates collaboration and knowledge sharing, allowing the whole to become greater than the sum of its parts. It's like when you get a bunch of stoners together, man, the ideas just start flowing like a never-ending bong rip.
Man, this peer thing is blowing my mind, wider than a Snoop Dogg concert.
Uh-huh.
So, like, what kind of results did they get with this bad boy? Did it actually live up to all the hype? Did it, like, smoke the competition?
Oh, it definitely smoked the competition, my friend. They tested Peer on a whole bunch of different language modeling tasks.
Okay.
Those are tasks that involve understanding and generating text, like, writing poetry or translating languages.
Right.
And Peer totally crushed it.
No way. So it's like Peer just took a giant bong rip of knowledge and blew everyone else away with its intellectual smoke rings.
You could say that. They use this technique called ISA-flop analysis to compare the different models, which is basically a way to measure how much performance you can get for a given amount of computational power. It's like finding the perfect ratio of weed to munchies.
Right.
You want the most bang for your buck, or in this case, the most intelligence for your computational resources.
Dude, I am all about efficiency, especially when it comes to munchies. So what did the ISA-flop analysis show? Was Peer the ultimate stoner gourmand getting the most out of his computational snacks?
Absolutely. Peer achieved the lowest perplexity, which basically means it was the best at understanding and predicting language, while using the same amount of computational power as the other methods. It's like Peer got way higher on the same amount of weed, if you know what I mean.
Damn, that's impressive.
Yeah.
It's like Peer is the ultimate lightweight packing a serious punch in a tiny package.
Huh.
But hold on, man, you mentioned these things called ablation studies. What the hell are those, and why should I care?
Ablation studies are like the scientific equivalent of tweaking your bong, man. You got to experiment to see what works best, right?
Yeah. So in these ablation studies, the researchers messed with different parts of Peer's design to see how each part contributed to its overall performance.
So it's like they were trying to figure out which parts of the bong were essential for getting the best hits and which parts were just like decorative beads and shit.
Exactly. And one of the most important findings was that the sheer number of experts in Peer really does matter. They're not just sitting there like couch potatoes. Each tiny expert is actively contributing to the overall intelligence of the model. It's like when you got a whole circle of stoners brainstorm. And man, the ideas just start flowing like a never-ending bong rip.
Man, this Peer thing is blowing my mind wider than a Snoop Dogg concert. So, like, where do we go from here? What are the implications of having all these tiny experts vibing together in AI land?
Well, the researchers dug into this thing called query batch normalization, or QBN for short, to make sure all those tiny experts get their time in the spotlight. It's like making sure everyone gets a hit from the bong, man. You don't want to leave anyone out of the knowledge circle. Right on, dude. Pass that shit around. Make sure everyone gets a taste of the good stuff. So how does this QBN thing actually work? Is it like a bong with a built-in rotation mechanism or something?
It's more like a way to level the playing field, my friend. QBN ensures that the inputs to all those tiny experts are on the same scale, so no one expert gets too much influence over the final output. It's like, making sure everyone's smoking the same strain so the conversation stays on track. You don't want to have one dude tripping balls while everyone else is just chilling and vibing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Keep the vibes balanced, man. No one wants to be the odd one out in the smoke circle. So QBN helps keep all the tiny experts happy and engaged, but does it actually lead to better performance?
Oh, hell yeah, it does. The researchers found that QBN significantly improves the overall performance of Peer, especially when the model is dealing with a lot of different types of data. It's like being able to handle a crazy variety of snacks without getting a stomachache.
Dude, I feel that. Sometimes I get a little too enthusiastic with the munchies and end up with a gut full of regret. So QBN helps Peer avoid those AI-induced munchie meltdowns.
You could say that. It helps Peer stay balanced and focused, even when it's bombarded with a shitload of information. It's like having the mental fortitude to resist that second bag of Doritos,
Damn, that's some serious willpower, man. I aspire to that level of self-control, at least when it comes to junk food. But speaking of mind-blowing concepts, let's wrap up this deep dive with some final thoughts on Peer. What's the big takeaway, man? What's the meaning of life, the universe, and everything?
Whoa, slow down there, Cheech. We might need to smoke a whole other bowl to unpack that one. But as far as peer goes, I think the main takeaway is that sometimes smaller is better. This paper shows that instead of trying to create one giant superbrain, we can achieve incredible results by connecting a bunch of smaller, specialized minds. It's like instead of having one dude trying to do everything, you got a whole crew of specialists, each one a master of their craft.
Yeah, man, it's all about teamwork, collaboration, and the power of the collective. It's like when you got a group of stoners sitting around a bong, man, the ideas just start flowing like a never-ending stream of consciousness. So what's the final verdict on Peer? Is this going to revolutionize the AI game?
It's hard to say for sure, dude, but this research definitely opens up some exciting new possibilities. It challenges the conventional wisdom that bigger is always better in AI and suggests that we can achieve incredible results by thinking outside the bong.
Damn, that's deep, man. Thinking outside the bong, that's a mantra I can get behind. So there you have it, folks. Another mind-expanding deep dive into the world of AI, powered by the finest intellectual cannabis this side of the Milky Way. Tune in next time when we'll be exploring some other groundbreaking research that's sure to leave you higher than a kite on knowledge. Keep those brains blazed, my friends, and remember, sometimes the best ideas come from the smallest of sources. It's like you never know where you'll find that perfect nug of wisdom, man. Peace out.